Picture a time in history when nomadic tribes roamed the vast plains of Eurasia. It's the early 12th century, an era of ceaseless winds and boundless horizons, where the very air seemed to vibrate with the thunder of galloping horses and the echoes of clashing swords. From this harsh and unforgiving landscape, a child is born who would come to shape the course of history. His name was Temujin. Temujin's early life was far from easy. His father was poisoned when he was just 9 years old, leaving him and his family in the harsh clutches of the Mongolian wilderness. Survival was a daily struggle, with each sunrise bringing new challenges. Yet it was these very hardships that forged the iron will and indomitable spirit that would later define Temujin as a leader. In this era, the Mongols were divided into numerous tribes, each vying for power and control. Temujin, however, had a different vision. He saw a unified Mongolia, a single entity that could stand against any adversary. This was a radical concept, one that necessitated not only military prowess, but also diplomatic acumen. Despite the odds, Temujin began to unite the tribes, meticulously weaving together a tapestry of alliances and loyalties. His methods were sometimes brutal, often pragmatic, but always effective. He introduced innovative military strategies, established a merit-based system, and even reformed the traditional Mongol law known as the Yasa. Temujin's efforts did not go unnoticed. His growing influence and power culminated in a grand assembly of the Mongol tribes in 1206. It was here, amidst the rolling plains that had borne witness to his struggles and victories, that Temujin was declared Genghis Khan, the universal ruler. This marked the beginning of the Mongol Empire. It was an empire that would not only reshape the geopolitical landscape of the world, but also leave an indelible mark on the annals of history. Once united, the Mongols set out on a path of conquest that would change the world. This military powerhouse led by Genghis Khan was not just an assembly of warriors, but a highly organized and disciplined force. The Mongol army was divided into units of tens, hundreds, thousands, and 10,000s, each with its own leader. This hierarchy allowed for swift communication and execution of orders, a key factor in their many victories. Not to be overlooked was their unparalleled mastery of horseback archery. Imagine a warrior riding at full gallop, turning in the saddle to fire an arrow at a target behind him. This was the Mongol warrior, a force to be reckoned with. Their deadly accuracy, combined with the mobility of their horseback archers, allowed them to decimate enemy ranks before they even had a chance to respond. Then, there were the psychological warfare tactics. The Mongols mastered the art of instilling fear in their enemies. They would spread rumors of their ferocity, and their reputation would precede them. By the time they arrived, their enemies were already trembling in fear. Their conquests were vast and varied. They overran China, creating the largest contiguous empire in history. They swept through Persia, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. They even reached into the heart of Eastern Europe, a feat that few other empires could boast. Their military prowess was best exemplified in the siege of Nishapur and the Battle of Kalka River. In Nishapur, they annihilated the entire population in a matter of hours. At the Battle of Kalka River, they used their cunning and superior tactics to defeat a much larger Rus and Cuman army, further cementing their reputation as an unstoppable force. By the time of Genghis Khan's death in 1227, the Mongol Empire stretched from the Pacific Ocean to the Caspian Sea. This was an empire that, at its peak, ruled over 1/5 of the world's land area, a testament to the Mongols' military might and strategic genius. Genghis Khan's death didn't end the Mongol conquests. His successors carried on his legacy. After Genghis Khan's demise in the year 1227, his empire was divided among his sons, as was the custom in Mongol society. Yochi, Chagatai, Ogadai, and Tului each received a portion of their father's vast empire. Yet it was the third son, Ogadai Khan, who was designated as the Great Khan, the supreme ruler of all Mongols. Under his leadership, the Mongol Empire continued its relentless expansion. Known for his administrative brilliance, Ogadai Khan not only conquered but also successfully governed the newly acquired territories, including parts of Eastern Europe and the Korean Peninsula. However, the reign of the successors wasn't all about extensions. There were failures too. The Mongols twice attempted to invade the island nation of Japan, but both times they were repelled by the ferocious samurai warriors and the so-called divine winds. Similarly, their attempts to conquer the Mamluk Sultanate, a powerful state in Egypt, ended in defeat. The baton of the Mongol Empire then passed on to Kublai Khan, the grandson of Genghis Khan. Kublai's reign marked a shift in the Mongol Empire's focus from military conquests to administrative and cultural consolidation. He established the Yuan dynasty in China, marking the integration of the Mongol Empire with Chinese culture and politics. The Yuan dynasty was instrumental in fostering trade and cultural exchanges between East and West, significantly impacting the world history. The successors of Genghis Khan, despite some failures, carried forward his vision with determination and shrewdness. They maintained the Mongol tradition of horseback warfare, adapted to different cultures, and displayed an exceptional ability to govern diverse territories. Despite setbacks, by the mid-13th century, the Mongol Empire was the largest contiguous land empire in history. This era of Mongol dominance, marked by both triumphs and failures, was a testament to the tenacity and resilience of Genghis Khan's successors. They not only preserved but also expanded upon the legacy of their famed ancestor. Like all great empires, the Mongol Empire had its sunset. The Mongol Empire, once the largest contiguous land empire in history, began to show signs of decline by the mid-13th century. A combination of internal conflicts, economic difficulties, and the devastating Black Death played significant roles in its downfall. Firstly, internal strife began to tear the empire apart at the seams. The death of Mongol Khan in 1260 triggered a civil war known as the Toluid Civil War. This conflict between two brothers, Kublai Khan and Arik Boke, for the imperial throne, created deep divisions within the empire. Alongside internal conflicts, economic difficulties were crippling the empire. The Mongols, traditionally a nomadic people, had to grapple with the complexities of administering vast sedentary territories. They struggled to maintain and control trade routes, and their military campaigns often drained the empire's treasury. Then came the Black Death, a bubonic plague that swept through Asia and Europe in the mid-14th century. This catastrophe, which killed millions, further weakened the empire, decimating its population and causing social and economic upheaval. As the empire weakened, it began to fracture into several distinct khanates. The Golden Horde, established in the western part of the empire, stretched from Eastern Europe to Siberia. The Chagatai Khanate, founded by Genghis Khan's second son, Chagatai, dominated Central Asia. The Ilkhanate, established by Hulagu Khan, ruled over Persia and parts of the Middle East. Lastly, the Yuan dynasty, founded by Kublai Khan, held power in China and Mongolia. These divisions, each with their own political and cultural identities, drifted further apart over time. The Mongol Empire's once unifying force dissipated, and by the late 14th century, the empire had effectively ceased to exist. By the late 14th century, the once mighty Mongol Empire was just a memory in the annals of history. The Mongol Empire may have fallen, but its impact is still felt today. It left behind a legacy that has shaped the world as we know it, influencing cultural, economic, and political landscapes across the globe. Let's delve into the cultural impact first. The Mongols, despite their reputation as fierce warriors, were also patrons of the arts and sciences. They facilitated the exchange of ideas, customs, and knowledge across their vast empire, leading to an unprecedented cultural enrichment. This is perhaps most evident in the fields of literature, painting, and music, which thrived under Mongol patronage. Next, we move on to the economic influence. The Mongols established the Pax Mongolica, a period of peace and stability that lasted for over a century. This era was marked by a surge in trade across the Silk Road, connecting the East with the West. The Mongols implemented a single, unified system of taxation and law, which further bolstered trade and commerce. The economic prosperity of this time has been compared to the economic boom of the modern era. Lastly, let's explore the political influences. The Mongols' innovative administrative and military strategies fundamentally transformed the political systems of the regions they conquered. They introduced meritocracy, replacing hereditary privilege with a system that rewarded skills and abilities. This principle is still deeply ingrained in the political fabric of many modern nations, including Mongolia, China, and Russia. The Mongols also left a lasting impact on the modern world through their descendants. Today, millions of people in Mongolia, China, and Russia proudly trace their lineage back to the Mongols. Their indomitable spirit and unity continue to inspire and shape these nations. In conclusion, the Mongols were not just conquerors. They were also innovators, facilitators, and culture bearers. Their influence has permeated every aspect of society, from art and science to economics and politics. The Mongol Empire, a testament to the power of unity and the indomitable spirit of the Mongol people, continues to echo through the ages.